Hello, welcome to the Burn KC ScorchCast. I am your host, Alex Blackburn, and sorry for the very late Sunday ScorchCast. You may notice that it is Wednesday, and generally we don't do ScorchCasts on Wednesdays, we do them on Sundays. However, your humble host was very sick over the weekend. I had a bad case of the COVID, of which is my first time testing positive because of my immune system. Shout out to my juggernaut of the immune system for keeping me healthy for this long. Unfortunately, I have been sick twice in the past month. Which is not a very good testament to how strong my immune system is. But we are back. My voice is at 100%. We are good now, symptom-free. Still wearing a mask at work, but we're managing. That's only till Friday. So, yeah, we're here now. Thank you for joining me. Got a pretty decent-sized show coming up. Talking college basketball, talking the Royals for the first time this year. We'll be talking the Chiefs, of course, and the AFC Championship that is coming up on Sunday, as well as some Blues news coming up as well. So strap in, sit tight, make this a great show, and welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Alright, starting off with college basketball, the local teams, of course, all competing these past couple of weeks. We've had about 4 games each, so strap in. We got a little bit of talking to do about them. We'll start off with K-State here. K-State has looked pretty good. These past couple of weeks, they've been riding really high, up until obviously just yesterday when they lost to Iowa State. However, no matter, this K-State team is still incredibly strong. They have excellent scoring offense, and they just got held down by a good Iowa State defense. Iowa State's defense is one of the top in the country, so I don't think any K-State fan was really expecting to go into Ames and just drop 80, 90 points like K-State has done in the past couple of weeks. It's still not a bad loss. They kept it close the whole way. It was a dogfight the whole way. Very exciting game to watch. But I think the highlight of K-State's week was beating Kansas in Bramlage, and we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about that yet. If you follow me on Twitter, you obviously saw that I was tweeting live. I tweet live through mostly every KU basketball game. Some of those tweets can get a little bit contentious, a little bit aggressive. I'm a very passionate KU basketball fan. And that was definitely a game where I was a little bit passionate. If you don't know my Twitter, go follow me at @theburn_KC. Post my articles there and post some thoughts and opinions that don't make it into the articles. So if you have Twitter, go follow me. But after that shameless plug, let's continue on with K-State. Their future in the Big 12 looks bright. I would say so myself. Marquise Noel has been an excellent addition. Obviously, Keontae Johnson as well. And being ranked 5th in the nation after being ranked last in the Big 12 last year is an incredible turnaround. And being so successful in a conference like the Big 12 this year is also nothing to, be ashamed of. it's been such a great ride for K State so far, and honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they do in the tournament. And that's as a K State, or excuse me, as a KU basketball fan. They look very, very good, and they look borderline unstoppable. Minus, obviously, the Big 12 is going to be such a gauntlet this year, with all the ranked teams and all the teams that have all those quadrant one wins, including K State. And I honestly can see K State winning the Big 12 this year. It's going to be a very weird year for the Big 12. We're going to see a lot of teams that probably should end up winning, maybe lose a couple. And I think we may even see a team that has 5 to 7 losses in conference win the Big 12. And that's certainly saying something. Um, it is just such a competitive league this year, and K State has held their own miraculously thus far. And I'm interested to see how they do. Obviously, first year coach Jerome Tang is up there for first year coach of the year, in my opinion. He's done such a fantastic job. I have a lot of respect for him as a coach. And overall, I think K State heading into the second matchup with KU is gonna still have that confidence, and KU is gonna face a big time battle come this upcoming Tuesday. Um, this being said, I think KU still has a shot. It's in Allen, but obviously that kind of hasn't mattered this year. If you saw the TCU game, which jumping into KU, there's a lot of problems that need to be fixed. And obviously, you're going to be dealing with a January slump with KU basketball. It happens basically every year. This team just kind of needs to find themselves, but this feels a little different. This feels like a KU team that may or may not recover from this January slump. Um, it's just they're outclassed physically, they're outclassed size wise. It's been just such a hard time for this KU team to get back on their feet after getting beat by K State. I think that was a huge blow to their confidence, and obviously the TCU game was too. And if you didn't read my article yesterday, I pointed out a lot of things that KU can do differently, but there's more than that list. They're looking like a team that is kind of lost right now. A lot of the Blue Buds this year are looking kind of lost this year. And Kansas is no different. KJ Adams is a four, obviously. He's a four-man through and through, and they need to get Ernest Uday minutes. They need to get Zubi Agia 4 minutes, and just get someone that can be a true five down low, to help with the offensive and defensive rebounding, because frankly speaking, the post play is absolutely atrocious. And to watch AJ Adams just kind of try and do it himself is kind of a struggle. You need to get those young bigs minutes, otherwise they're not going to get any better. And the fact that they have such big size on the bench and they're not utilizing it is kind of telling of how much trust Bill Self has in that bench. And, I can't say I blame him. It's been such a struggle for that bench to just even score points, just across the board. I mean, KU's near the bottom when it comes to bench points, and it's got to turn around if they want any shot at winning the Big 12. They've got a huge test these next couple games. I mean, these past couple games that they've played have been huge tests. Unfortunately, tests that they have not passed. But these next two games will go a very, very long way in determining what type of season it's going to be for KU basketball. Um, it's a pretty night and day story between K State and KU. Um, KU just has no answers by the looks of it. And it feels like there should be because you do have that size in Ernest Uday and Zubia Giafor, but it's just not being utilized. And I'm not sure if just it's a Bills self-trust issue or if it's a an issue regarding maybe just having that offensive efficiency with KJ Adams, minus the foul trouble. But eventually, KU's just got to stop playing scared. They got to stop worrying about fouling. They got to stop worrying about, you know, them being undersized. Otherwise, they will never recover when it comes to post play. I mean, they're going to be facing a very, very good big in Oscar Shibwe come Saturday, and if they can't contain him, that's going to be a very long game for KU because yeah, Kentucky struggled this year, um, but KU has too, and frankly speaking, Kentucky has the mismatch. And frankly, it doesn't look good on paper. I have faith that KU can go into Rupp and win if they play their best game. They did it against Mizzou, and Mizzou pound for pound, at least this year, is just as good as Kentucky. They beat Kentucky even. Uh, it's it's going to be tough containing Shibwe, though. Obviously, he's been in the NCAA for years and years now, and he kind of knows his way around being a big in the NCAA. So you're going to put youth and inexperience against a very, very experienced big that very well could dominate the paint. And after that, it doesn't get any easier because you got K-State at home. And judging by how the TCU game went, yeah, KU's worst matchup in the conference in terms of size and ability, but K-State's pretty close to there too. And they have to find a way to win. And it just does not look good for KU basketball this year. I fully believe they'll still make the tournament, and I fully believe that they have the ability to recover this season and to possibly make a run, but it's going to take a lot of work. And judging by how these last couple games have gone, confidence is at an all-time low. I mean, we have definitely hit that January slump for KU basketball. So, um, got to make a turnaround soon, boys. I mean, it just has to happen. Um, but going into Mizzou was struggling there for a bit, um, but I think they finally found their groove. And their groove is in guys like Kobe Brown, guys, um, oh, what's his name? It's something. Let me look it up real quick. I had it and lost it. Let's go here. Nope. Oh, where are we? There you go. Mizzou had a pretty rough game against Alabama, all things considered, but Alabama is just a buzzsaw this year. They're very, very good. So I'm not entirely surprised that they got beat by them, but they've been winning as of recent. They got a win against Florida, a win against Arkansas, and a win against Ole Miss. And they got a very, very tough test. Isaiah Mosley, there we go. Isaiah Mosley and Demoy Hodge, guys like that are going to be your difference makers, and so far they've proven that. And they have a huge test in the Big 12 SEC Challenge against a very, very good Iowa State team. We're going to see just how explosive this Mizzou offense is. They've been good in certain games and completely inept in others. So it's just an issue of consistency for Mizzou. Do they have what it takes to contend for the SEC? Do they have what it takes to be a good tournament team? I believe so. And what they have to do is continue to build their confidence with good, solid wins. And if they can pull out a win against Iowa State, that's a huge one. Yeah, it's non-conference. Yeah, it's not going to count towards the regular season conference schedule and whatnot. But that's still a win against a very good ranked team with a very, very good defense. And all things considered, if you can pull out a win there, you're going to be at home too, no less. That's going to be a huge confidence boost. And that's going into the meat and potatoes of the conference schedule for Mizzou. They've already had 2 ranked matchups against Arkansas and Alabama, and they shot 50-50. And getting a win against Iowa State could very well be that difference maker for Mizzou. That being said, when Mizzou's confident, they have a tendency to get overconfident, which happens with a lot of first-year coach teams. They can't get cocky. They can't, think they're world beaters after, getting a signature win like that. They have to go in with poise and act like they've been there before. Otherwise, that win's not going to mean anything. But they got to get that win first. So overall, I think Mizzou has a great shot at being a team that goes far in the tournament. They just got to maintain their poise. So, moving on to the Royals, though, we have got to talk about what moves the Royals have made thus far. What moves JJ Piccolo has made thus far. I'm going to be completely frank about this Aroldis Chapman situation. I think it is an absolutely terrible signing. You've got yourself a pitcher that has problems on and off the field that is past his prime, and you're going to expect him to be your difference maker, is basically what the Royals signed Chapman for. The Royals, I guess, are expecting him to have a bounce back year after the last couple of years have been less than spectacular for Aroldis Chapman. It just doesn't make any sense. I think it's a bad signing. I think it's a signing that the Royals could have gone without. And I think it's a signing that honestly just makes the Royals look bad. And not just because of the domestic violence allegations, not just because of the fact that the Royals are making a decision that is solely based on complete chance, basically. But it's frankly, it's a move that shows that you don't trust your young core in pitching. And now that Cal Eldridge is gone, I would hope that you don't need to bring any veteran presences, and I would hope that you can trust your young arms to develop. This is not supposed to be the year that the Royals go to the playoffs. This is supposed to be a year that has a regime change and that has that rebuild after that regime change. And I know that, Royals fans, they're tired of the rebuild. We want a good team now. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen when you have a regime change like this. And to bring in a guy that has domestic violence allegations that, has been underperforming, I mean, the article said it all, frankly. Negative .02 WAR, giving up that many home runs, having an ERA almost above 3 as a closer, is just unacceptable. And, I get it. He can throw 108 miles an hour. He looks good in the Cuban League, blah, 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 blah. It makes no difference. It truly makes no difference. it sets an incredibly bad precedent, especially with the recent free agency moves as well outside of Chapman. Giving away Michael A. Taylor, shopping Nicky Lopez. Yep, the Royals are shopping Nicky Lopez. If you didn't know that, by the way. Um, and then obviously putting a hole at shortstop without Alberto Mondesi. I mean, yeah, you can move Bobby Witt over there any day of the week, and he will fit in just fine. But who's going to play third base? It's not going to be Hunter Dozier. I will tell you that right now. If you put Hunter Dozier there, you're going to have a bad, bad third base. I think Bobby Witt belongs at third base. I don't. You have to find a solution at shortstop now. Yeah, Mondesi had some injury issues. Yeah, he didn't develop as quickly as we would have liked. But you look at the regime that was in office last year. That's to be expected. I mean, this was a. I don't think the Royals front office realizes just how far Dayton Moore and that everybody that got fired for a reason. And frankly speaking, with all the moves that the Royals have made, they may not have been the entire problem. I don't see I don't see why JJ Piccolo is still there. And John Sherman needs to look at this team and say, okay, what is going to develop our young core the best? Is it going to be game experience in getting these guys the minutes that they need? Or is it going to be signing guys that are past their prime, doing the same old song and dance that the Royals have done since the 90s? And just overall setting a precedent of, look, we don't trust our young core. We're not going to pay our young core. Yeah, we're a small market team, and we're going to use that excuse till the wheels fall off. It's such a bad precedent, and it only drives the fan base apathy further and further in. And for a team that expects a downtown stadium to be built in the next 5 to 10 years, how dare you? I mean, frankly speaking, how dare you? How dare you ask for something like that when you can't even fill the seats? And it's not because the Royals play all the way over in Independence. It's not because, oh, well, we just have a small market team. There's no way of recovering from that. Yes, there is. The Minnesota Twins are doing it. The Seattle Mariners are doing it. The Milwaukee Brewers, they're still got a ways to go, but they're doing it too. The Houston Astros did it. Yeah, they cheated along the way, but they still built an incredible core out of their young talent. And the Royals can do the exact same thing if they learn to utilize it. And it's the same thing that I said last year. I mean, you have to be willing to trust your young core to make mistakes. They're going to. They're young. They're inexperienced. But you're not going to get better by signing guys that are washed up like Aroldis Chapman. And pitching is not a quantity over quality deal. It's a quality over quantity deal. So no matter how many arms you sign, which is basically all I've seen this past free agency period, is just signing pitchers. And you have to sign position players in order to get better if you're going to delve into free agency to find ways to improve. Frankly speaking, I don't think the Royals need to, but what do I know? I've only watched the Royals since I was 2 years old, and it's just the same precedent every year. And the small market excuse has completely run out. It ran out in 2015. So spare me it. Like it's absolutely ridiculous that the Royals cannot find a solution, even after hard lesson learned after hard lesson learned, or so they tell us. So either build a team or don't. Because frankly speaking, if the Royals don't show any promise this year and they continue to set this precedent of we're okay with sucking, I'm going to stop watching. It's not like I can watch in the first place because I don't have Bally Sports, but that's a completely different topic for a different time. And that's a topic that I have ran into the ground to if you've been watching me for a couple years, which, well, it'll be a year in March. But, yeah, if you watched me in the early days, you know how much I hate Bally Sports. Topic for a different time. If you want to know my true opinion, go check out past broadcasts or the past articles because I have both written and talked about Bally Sports. Pretty bad. But that's enough on the Royals. Moving on to Kansas City's most favorite team, aside from the least favorite that we just talked about, the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you've been living under a rock, you probably don't know that the Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC Championship for the fifth straight year. That's right, folks. 5 straight. And by the way, that's 5 straight times hosting the AFC Championship. That's the first time that has ever happened in the NFL. Ever. Not even the Patriots did it. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be proud of. Well, continuing on. The Chiefs are in the AFC Championship, and they're playing a familiar foe in the Cincinnati Bengals. They have lost to the Cincinnati Bengals 3 times in a row. And frankly speaking, well, I know I sound like a broken record every time I say frankly speaking, but this is frankly speaking. It's time. Kansas City's due. Beat the freaking Bengals. And they have the tools to do so. Also, if you've been living under a rock, you probably didn't know that Patrick Mahomes got hurt in the divisional round game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He got a high ankle sprain and played through the rest of the game, basically. Chad Henne did lead one 98-yard drive that led to a score. But Patrick Mahomes finished out the game. The X-rays came back negative, and he was a full participant in practice today, which says a lot about the KC athletic training staff. What also says a lot about the athletic training staff of the Kansas City Chiefs is how well Patrick Mahomes has played coming off of injury. It's pretty impressive, folks. I mean, if you look at the record of him after coming off of injury, he's won every time he's had a game coming off of injury. Every time. And barring Super Bowl 55, which we do not talk about. But I digress. Patrick Mahomes is really, really good coming off of injury, and he is at 100%, according to sources. Those sources being Andy Reid and Chiefs officials. And looking at it now, if the Chiefs are going to beat the Bengals, this is the time to do it. The Bengals are riding high. They are very, very confident. And if you haven't been paying attention to Twitter, they're a little cocky. And looking at kind of, it's almost as if they've won the AFC Championship already and they're going to the Super Bowl. That's how they're acting. And when you play with Patrick Mahomes' emotions like that, when you tempt fate like that, you can almost expect to get burned. And Patrick Mahomes coming off of injury and Patrick Mahomes being an underdog for the first time in his career in the playoffs, the stage is set. I mean, it is. Patrick Mahomes has every opportunity. The Chiefs have every opportunity to absolutely dismantle and humble this Bengals team. They're coming in confident. They're coming in thinking they've already won. It's a lot like how the Missouri Tigers behaved when Kansas came to town. It's just this state of euphoria and overconfidence that a lot of teams get humbled pretty quick when thinking like that. And looking at how the Chiefs are preparing for the Bengals, this is a team that does not want to lose again. This is a team that if they show the performance that they've had over the past couple of weeks, they will beat these Bengals. And Joe Burrow or not, I agree, Joe Burrow is an excellent quarterback, and he's got plenty of weaponry. And it'll be a test for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But that offensive line is really, really bad. And Chris Jones does not have a postseason sack yet. I think this is the game that he gets that postseason sack. Frank Clark's going to go up against a guy that has had 5 NFL starts. That offensive line is beat up, and if we can get pressure on Joe Burrow, the Chiefs win that game any day of the week. If you are getting in Joe Burrow's face, and if you are having a spy as well, that's another key, is having a spy on Joe Burrow to make sure he doesn't run. The Chiefs win this game easy, in my opinion. And looking at the past couple of performances, this offense is back in their groove. This offense shows that they can be good, Tyreek Hill or not. And knowing that this is a different team from last year, this is a team that is looking for revenge this year. It's a motivating factor. I promise you it is. And I can absolutely see the Chiefs coming in and punching this Bengals team in the mouth. That's what they have to do in order to win this game. They're going to have to be extremely physical. They're going to have to impose their will. Because, frankly speaking, the game in Cincinnati, the Chiefs looked incredibly soft. They looked incredibly soft. That was a bad Bengals O-line that just abused the Chiefs' front seven. Joe Mixon ran all over the place. Joe Burrow, even when he was pressured, got out of the pocket and scrambled for a few yards. Or found his check down, which ended up going for 10, 15 yards. The Chiefs have to contain the check down, they have to contain the scramble, and they have to contain Joe Mixon, and they win this game. Yeah, Jamar Chase is a threat. T. Higgins is a threat. Of course. Every game they are. However, this is a Chiefs secondary that has been built through trial by fire. And this is a Chiefs secondary that is very, very different than the last time the Chiefs faced the Bengals. And I fully believe that they can contain these elite Bengals wide receivers. It's going to be a tough game. It's a referee crew that, once again, is not a huge fan of the Chiefs. And we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl refereeing crew until we get there. But if you know who it is, you probably already know my opinion of that crew. So, but the AFC Championship crew. This is going to be, it's going to be tough. They're going to call it pretty down the line. Honestly, and if they don't call it down the line, they're probably going to favor the Bengals. Well, excuse me. But seeing how confident these Chiefs are, not cocky, confident. Chiefs aren't saying anything on social media. They're not blabbing anymore on social media like they did against the Bengals last time, and they got embarrassed last time. I think the Chiefs are going to give it right back to them. They should, at least. Because frankly speaking, this is a Bengals team that needs humbling. I mean, it is incredible how badly they need humbling. Please, 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 please. Um, but it with the way Patrick Mahomes has performed after injury, with the way this is a revenge game, with the way the Chiefs defense has played as of recent, with the way the Chiefs offense has played as of recent, the tides are in the Chiefs' favor. They just need to capitalize. And whatever Eli Apple says doesn't matter until Sunday. Whatever anyone says doesn't matter. You put up or you shut up. And I think the Chiefs have every opportunity to put up here. Because last time they faced the Bengals, they did. And they got embarrassed. So, changes are coming. And the Reaper's coming too. So, going to be a real exciting game. I really can't wait until Sunday. I'm going to be at Poorhouse across the street from my place. If you want to come and see me, I'll be with some of the KC Blues rugby guys there. And it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm not going to live stream from there quite yet. I don't think they'd allow me to do that. But, and I'll probably say curse words too. So, can't exactly put that on air quite yet. But, overall, it's going to be a fun watch. It's going to be real fun. I can't wait to see. But, moving on to another team. Speaking of the Blues, the Blues Hall of Fame banquet is going to be on February 4th. Going to be inducting some Blues legends. Let's go ahead and go to the board here because I remember Ashley Pouchet, but I can't remember who else got inducted. Let's see. To Dan Pluth and Ashley Pouchet. Two Blues legends getting inducted. And it's going to be a great time. Last Hall of Fame banquet was a blast. I'm going to have a lot of fun, as are the guys. And that's a day before Super Bowl Sunday. So that might be a wild weekend. But it'll be lots of fun. It's going to be great seeing the Blues guys once again, and that's also kind of the week that training camp starts for the Blues. It's going to be a good spring season. Got a lot coming up. The spring season schedule is being finalized, and it's going to be looking like a good developmental side. It's going to be a good spring. Going to have lots of guys kind of testing their mettle and proving why they need to have a D1 spot. And overall, it's going to be a great season. It's going to be a ton of fun at the Hall of Fame banquet, and I really can't wait. It's going to be great seeing the guys again. I haven't seen quite a few of them in quite a long time, so it's going to be fun. But overall, just wanted to mention that the Blues Hall of Fame banquet was in a couple weeks, and training camp is going to be starting in a couple weeks for the spring season. So if you're interested in playing rugby, come on out. Ask me for some details. And I can give you. Rugby's a lot of fun. Try it sometime. But anyways, that's our show. Thank you very much for joining me. It was a great time. Thank you for bearing with me as I got over my illness. Still kind of scratchy there, but I'm at 100%. I feel fine. I feel great, actually. And special thank you to everyone that sent their well wishes, everyone that helped me through the COVID, and just thanks. Thanks for being a listener. Thanks for being a reader. Thanks for indulging me in this passion project that has garnered a lot of attention over the past almost year now. We'll be celebrating a year here in March, and I've got something special planned for that. That's going to be a great time. Hope you can join me. Um, Nothing's quite set in stone yet, but I will be having something pretty fun marked off for March. It'll be a good time. But that's in the future. And we're in the now. Enjoy the now. Enjoy the present. Soak it in. Control the things that you can control and don't control the things that you can't. That's a Burn KC life lesson to end this for tonight. But, anyways, have a great night. I will see you all probably honest. Depending on how the Chiefs game goes, maybe not on Sunday. I'll weigh my options in terms of what exactly we're going to be doing on Sunday. I'm all things considered, I might live stream from the poorhouse, um, but we'll see. I will keep you all updated. Articles will come out as scheduled, and either way, I'll see you all next week. This has been the Burn KC signing off. Have a great night.